This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Chance Theater for the presentation of Alice in Wonderland. This is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 80.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Daryl Hovis. I'm the director of Alice in Wonderland. I'm also the co-education director, and I oversee the TYA program.
So could you tell me a little bit about the TYA program?
Yes, this is actually our first year instituting the Theater for Young Audience, and the idea is to reach out and expand our touches as a theater and reach out to community and provide opportunities for younger audiences to come and get involved and be a part of just experience live theater, and hopefully that they'll continue and whether it's here or elsewhere, whether they get into it on stage or just continue to be a patron of the arts, and we just kind of want to expand our reach out in the community.
How important is the audience in live theater?
To me, as a director, I always consider the audience as kind of an additional character. This Alice in Wonderland, in particular, because of the style in which we did, is more presentational, a little bit of vaudeville, commedia. So it really wants to bring the audience onto the stage and make them feel like they're a part of it. But even then, I think the audience is really what drives any given performance, whether it's good or bad. I mean, that's ultimately we're here to tell them the story, and so they're the most important part of the process.
Do you make any accommodations for the fact that the audience will be children or people on the autism spectrum?
For this performance, relaxed performance, we did adjust some of the sound cues to lower some of the sound to reduce the extremes of low and high frequencies. Some of the voices we were a little bit shrilly in the normal performance, so we kind of pulled back on that. But otherwise, and there was some lighting cues that we changed, any flashing lights, and there were no sudden blackouts or bringing up lights suddenly. But other than that, it was pretty much the same show.
Oh. But this was a little shorter, though, right?
No, this is actually the speed of the show. This is the length of the show. It's a 45-minute show because we want to keep them in and out, in terms of just keeping them involved and engaged in the story. And so we look for shows that had a shorter length that didn't really give time for the kids to tune out. I'm sure certain shows, Fancy Nancy is a little bit longer. We're trying to keep within that 45 to 1 hour time limit, but nothing was cut out for this performance in terms of material.
Yeah. Did you choose this performance, or was it chosen by some artistic director?
I helped choose. There's a team of the TYA which I oversee, and so we chose this season. So it's Alice in Wonderland, and then Fancy Nancy the musical, and then The Legends of Sleepy Hollow, which will be a world premiere, kind of telling the tale of Ichabod Crane, but also some other unknown stories. And that's actually written by Jonathan Josephson, who was a resident artist way back, and he's written a lot of stuff, and so he's coming back to the chance to present this show.
Why did you choose Alice in Wonderland?
We felt it was such a fantastical tale. It had so many possibilities to be visual, especially with such a small space as this. And we didn't know, we had started rehearsals before this building was even converted, so we had no idea what we were going to be in store for. But also the fact that it's the 150th anniversary of the book. So we felt to launch our first TYA series, that was the perfect choice to do.
Could you comment a little bit about the movement? Because I noticed the stage is so small, and you had such a large cast.
Yeah, that was one of the challenges. I mean, I figure the stage is not much. It's probably smaller than a lot of living rooms. But rather than looking at it as a challenge, we had 10 to, at any given time, the entire cast, which is 11, is on stage for the final scene. But rather than looking at it as a limitation, I took it as a challenge to be, how can we make it work for the show as opposed to against it? And so, and trying to create trapdoors, entrances to come in and out of, because really there's only one entrance coming from the green room, and we had to create this false wall to create an entrance here. But even then, we can't get through the far stage left, so we created little trapdoors and entrances to come in, and so that was kind of it made it more fun, actually, to kind of try to figure out how we're going to make this happen.
Yeah, it really worked. From what I saw, it really worked. Because again, that's why I commented upon the movement. and obviously you worked a little bit on that.
Yes, I mean it was choreographed. There was the song itself had a choreographer, but other than that, I had initial blocking. That and again, we were in a rehearsal space, and we were kind of adjusting as the set was being designed and the space was being created, and found out we had a smaller space than we thought. So we made the adjustments, and some of it, what I like to do is create the ground plan for the blocking, and then work with the actors from their instincts and flesh it out from there. So some of it kind of came through trial and error and trying to work it out through the space, and some of the stuff we had to adjust once we got into the space.
Yeah, actually, Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite child's plays because, again, it's actually very deep, a lot of existentialism in it.
Yes. We spent a week in table readings, really. At some point, we're like, are we really making too much? Are we reading too much into this? But there's a lot there, and there's a lot of interpretations, a lot of arguments, and in the end, we just said, it's a wonderful story. We're not trying to say anything necessarily. We all have our own takes, and we argued in the rehearsals about what this means or what that means. But ultimately, it's just a beautiful story, and it doesn't really need this whole deep thing. It's got a magic of its own. So we just said, let's just tell that story. And people want to interpret something meaningful, deeper, or whatever. Then to me, I love that. That's the magic of live theater is the audience can take away their own truth from the story, regardless if that truth is something that I came up with or the other actors came up with. And that's what makes it magical, because you can see something that I see and come away with two different ideas.
Right. I actually enjoyed the performance a lot. First of all, I like Alice in Wonderland. The choreography was very well. The audience was very behaved. I'm not sure if you can take credit for that, but the audience was very well behaved. And again, it was short, but again, I enjoyed the shortness of it because that's refreshing for me too. And I'm sure the kids actually managed to keep the proper attention span too. Yeah,
I think it's just keeping them engaged and making sure that we're not. We got to make sure, are we putting this show on for them or for us? And it's really about them and making them feel welcomed and making them feel a part of it, making them, feel the magic, and ultimately walk away changed in some bit for the better, and hope that they'll come back and experience more, or they'll go elsewhere and just continue to enjoy live theater in our community, and maybe even later be a part of it. But yes, this audience, we weren't sure what to expect for our first relaxed performance. And they were actually very quiet, more than I thought they would be. Our past shows have been great. The audience has been wonderful. The kids are magical, and the cast lights up. And they feed off these little kids and their imagination and their energy and stuff. So it's been really, really fun.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you?
I'm Jillian Batt, and I play Alice in Alice in Wonderland. Well, I've been doing theater and multiple plays and training since I was about 8 and a half, and I found my first musical when I was about 9, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since, and I'm 15 now, so it's about 7 years or so, and I honestly couldn't see myself doing anything else. I play Alice. Alice is a girl who, she's kind of uninterested in the normal kind of part of her family, and so she ventures off into this dream, I guess, but not really a dream. Well, it can be interpreted different ways by the audience, but she finds this new land and she falls in love with it, even though at first it's a little strange and a little quirky to her, but I think in the end it's a good experience and she really loves it. So yeah.
You're very young. You're only 15.
Yes, I'm only 15. I turned 15 on the day this show opened.
So how did you first get into acting?
Well, I did a summer camp at a theater nearby, and it was just a little camp. It was actually Annie the Musical, and it was Annie Jr., and I started doing it, and I honestly loved it. And I was like, Mom, I need to do some more theater. And so we started going to different community theaters and regional and children's theaters. And then I started getting into more professional theaters. And then I found the chance, because I go to Orange County School of the Arts in Orange County. and one of my vocal teachers recommended the Chance Theater because she was saying how great it is, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go audition. So I auditioned for Secret Garden, and that was about a year and a half ago, and I landed the role of Mary, and it was honestly one of the best experiences I've ever had with professional theater. And then I saw Alice in Wonderland was having auditions. I was like, I have to try out, and so I came and I auditioned. I got a call back, and I landed the role, and I couldn't be happier with any other part, and I love it.
I always ask people who get into theater because I'm very curious about the very nature of what an artist is. Almost like Alice in Wonderland, where there's this existential. What are you? So
Right.
as an artist, basically, are you different from everyone else?
I wouldn't really say different. I would say more unique and more creative, because you don't want to just stick to the normal. No one wants to be normal. You want to be that quirky, more fun, kind of artistic kind of person. And I feel like I like to be that person. And if someone says I'm different, I take it as a compliment, and it's a positive thing, because who wants to be like everybody else and just kind of blend in? I want not stick out, but I want to be noticed. I'm not in a bad way, but yeah. And I don't think it's different. I think it's unique and artistic, and I love it.
Actually, I kind of differ. I tend to differ in your opinion. I think a lot of people want to conform. They want to become, say, just this person, this peg, this cog in a big machine.
Right.
You don't see that many people going to say, I just want to stand out. I want people to notice me. And unless they're a theatrical type person.
Right. Well, yes, a lot of people, especially my age, they just want to fit in with the crowd, and I like to fit in, but at the same time, I don't want to be just the person in the crowd. I want to be remembered for the good things that I have accomplished in life, and I feel like doing theater, I'm accomplishing something that I love and something that I feel really confident that I love to do. And so yeah, I think that most kids, like you said, want to fit in, and I do at the same time, but I also want to make a difference.
Any advice you have for young kids, because you managed to land pretty well, on your feet pretty well in theater.
Yeah.
So any advice you have for younger kids who want to get into this?
I'd say just follow your dreams, and no matter what people tell you, just keep pursuing what you want to do. And if you have confidence in yourself, you can honestly achieve anything that you want. And don't let others bring you down, because you're going to be better in the end anyway. So, yes.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for coming.
Hello, yes, I'm Ashton Marcus of KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
And Stephanie Schultz. I play the Queen of Hearts. I started doing theater in the 5th grade, and it just stuck with me ever since, and I love it, and I hope to do it for a long, long time.
And which character did you play?
The Queen of Hearts. The Queen is very misunderstood. She goes around yelling and being blustery and threatening to take people's heads off, but she doesn't really. The King actually goes and pardons everyone, so nobody actually ever really loses their head.
Interesting. You started when you were a kid, and now you're doing children's theater. What's your take on children's theater?
I think it's a great way to get younger audiences involved in theater, because, as you've heard, the theater sometimes is dying. So if we don't replenish our audience member with younger audiences, that unfortunately will become true. So we have an infant here who's 3 to 4 months old. This was her first theater experience, and that's where we need to start, 3 or 4 months old, and just keep them coming.
Yeah, well, theater has been dying for the last 40 years.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come true then. We can keep saying that as long as we can keep getting them in. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm Ashton Marcus of KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Beach Vickers. I just played the King and the Caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland in the Chance Theater. Thanks for coming. I'm from West Virginia. I went to college at Washington Lee University in Virginia and took acting, and then I was in the Peace Corps. I lived in Afghanistan. I lived in South Korea. And long story short, now I'm acting part-time in Southern California and live in Los Angeles. I played the King of Hearts, who presided over the trial of the Knave of Hearts, who stole the tarts from the Queen of Hearts. And I also played the Caterpillar in our version. I blew bubbles.
Which one was your favorite character?
I like them all. I love playing the caterpillar because it's kind of wise and kind of goofy. And we interpolated some sign language because I was thinking a caterpillar doesn't really have a voice. How would he speak? He would speak in signs using his little tentacles. But I also translated on stage what his signs were. But that was American Sign Language I was using during this show. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually liked your performance a lot.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. And what's your station again?
At KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically I'm on Fridays 4 to 5. But you can also see us streaming. Just go to KUCI.org.
Yeah.
And I'll actually have this on YouTube too.
And you know that tonight we did a special relaxed performance for some of our young guests who had a special need of not being overly frightened. So some of the startling aspects or extra loud noises or extra dark scenes we modified to make it accessible to every child.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you're?
I'm Gabriel, Florence. So I'm from New York City, moved out here about 2 years ago. This is my first show at Chance Theater. Very excited. It was a lot of fun. A lot of dedicated actors. It was a great show.
Great. Okay, and which character did you play?
The White Rabbit. It's a rabbit that Alice follows into the hole, and he sort of begins the journey for her. She's not sure where exactly she is, but she follows the White Rabbit out of curiosity, and it turns into another world for her. So he's very he's almost the opposite of Alice, where she's shy and not sure what's going on. He's very all over the place and sort of very quick and fast, and so yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think of children's theater? Because for me, it's kind of hit or miss for me. I've seen some really good children. I've seen some really bad children's theater too. So what do you think about children's theater? I mean, now that you're in it.
I think it's a very good, in general, idea for having a show for children, especially those who are special needed children, where they don't get to have places to go for entertainment, just to get away from everyday life, just for a few hours, just to relax and enjoy and see something different. I think it's a very good idea.
Okay. What do you get from, as an artist? What do you get from the audience? Is the audience important to you? I mean, do you get energy from them or anything like that?
Audience is very important. Otherwise, I'd be doing shows in my living room by myself. I think audience gives you a lot of feedback with whether it's laughter or it's crying or you know you've moved them somehow, even if they don't make a sound because they're being respectful of actors on stage. I think there's still a connection when you know there's somebody physically watching you.
Do you take in any accommodations in the fact that the audience will be children or again people say on the autistic spectrum?
I think we do as actors try to modify our behavior to accommodate the type of audience that will be there that night, whether it's elderly or it's middle-aged or it's children. You sort of modify your tone and you sort of cater to that audience range or audience group.
Okay, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. You?
I'm Bonnie King. I was born and raised here in Orange County. I have graduated from Chapman University with 2 degrees, and I currently work at Disneyland in entertainment. And I play the March Hare in Alice in Wonderland. The March Hare loves to eat. His best friend is the Mad Hatter, and we are always drinking tea with the Dormouse.
How was this performance? Are you used to playing in front of an audience of children?
Yes, I actually started theater growing up doing shows for children in their theaters. So it was a lot of fun to be able to actually get to meet them after the show. That almost never gets to happen for us, so we never get the feedback. So it's really, really fun to be able to do a show that is meant for children and to get to hear how the children really like it back at us at the end.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you are?
Hi, I'm Diego. I grew up in the Imperial County in Southern California. Moved up here for school. I'm studying theater tech and theater performance at Santa Ana College. And I've studied all sorts of things, Shakespeare, Moliere, Chekhov, and I've recently been dipping my fingers into children's theater and musical theater lately. And currently, I have just been cast in a show with the nanny, Cheri in downtown Santa Ana in Kids of the Spider Woman.
Okay, and
I play the Knave of Hearts, the Fish Footman, and I'm a Cheshire Cat puppeteer.
and which one was your favorite character?
I really enjoy the Fish Footman because it's fun, but the puppeteer because I'm able to work with puppets and I really have a deep passion for puppetry. The Fish Footman was basically, he is one of the Queen's servants that it's her messenger, so don't kill the messenger on that one. But I just go and I give out her invitations to croquet and all of her tea parties.
I know, it's never yours.
What do you enjoy most about theater?
In theater, with theater, it's the only place in the world now that magic can actually happen. There's this wall that's missing from this room, and you're able to see a life happen in an hour. And it's something magical that we don't see very often anymore.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you are?
I am RJ Balde. Hello. I played the Mad Hatter and the Frog Footman in the play. I'm originally from Oxford, Michigan. It's a small farm town in the Midwest. I moved out here a couple of years ago to pursue exactly this, an acting career. I went to 2 different acting schools over in Michigan, and this is my first stage production doing since I moved out here. So, yeah. I played the Mad Hatter and the Frog Footman, and also the ukuleleist, the strumster. Yeah. My favorite character would probably have to be the Mad Hatter, obviously. And the Mad Hatter is just this crazy hat maker. None of the hats that he makes are his own. So the one I'm wearing right now, it's for a client. It's for someone else. It's not mine. But he's just this crazy hat maker that is cooped up in his shop. But he does have tea parties all the time with the March Hare and with the Dormouse, and he's just crazy kooky guy, and he's a fun character to play. Yeah,
that's a very popular character. Everyone knows that. Absolutely. Did you try to add anything different into it?
I definitely tried to. I definitely took inspiration. I drew things from all the different interpretations of the character, because there are so many, countless interpretations of the character. So it was a challenge to try to find my own spin on it, while at the same time sort of absorbing the best characteristics that I grew up with seeing. So yeah, it was a process to try to make it my own. I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time just researching the character and diving into it. So, yeah, really fun. It was a good time.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you?
Paul Stokowski. I come from, I'm playing the Duchess in Alice in Wonderland. I come from Nevada, Reno. Gardnerville, Nevada, and went to Nevada, Reno. And this is my first show I did in Anaheim. And I hope it will continue, because my life's goal is to become an actor, to get paid for it. And so, it's a great opportunity here, and I'm glad to be here.
Which character do you play?
The Duchess and the Juror and parts of the Cheshire Cat. The Duchess, she is a very strong woman who doesn't like to abide to anyone's rules. She likes to make up her own rules at the same time, but still forces herself to follow them. She's very boisterous and loud, and sometimes somewhat bipolar. And I figure that her being like that kind of helps her be strong at the same time. It's kind of confusing to think of it that way, but with having that mental issue and still being able to function in Wonderland is kind of a strength, in my opinion. So,
yeah. So how do you gear up for an audience of children? How do you play off of them?
Frankly, you don't play off of them, you play with them. That's one of the things I've learned about children is that they want to play, they want to have fun, so play with them. And so it's really, when you hear them laughing and everything, you know it's working. If it's not, then keep trying. They'll eventually start to laugh, but you gotta just go with the flow eventually until you find the children that really enjoy it. So,
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
no, thank you very much.
I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Julie Kirkman, and I play the pigeon in Soldier Number 2 and the juror. This is my first show in Orange County. I've been doing Shakespeare in Long Beach, and I was living in Los Angeles for a while, but I'm planning to try and get into the Orange County theater scene because I really like it down here. And I studied at AMDA in New York City and have done different acting classes around the area.
And which one was your favorite character?
I really like the pigeon. She's not on scene, on stage for a really long time, but she's just fun because she's get away, go away. I'm trying to carry my babies. So.
Okay. Actually, I don't remember the pigeon in Alice in Wonderland. Was that the dodo that you played?
Well, no, the pigeon is not often in any of the scenes because she's such a small part at the beginning. So a lot of times they're like, put her in. She's only in for a few minutes to yell serpents because in the actual story, Alice's neck has elongated, but the rest of her body looks the same. So when the pigeon is up in the nest, she just sees the neck and she thinks it's a serpent coming after her eggs. And that was kind of one of those things that they decided to leave in the play. It's kind of that's how she first came into the scene, and then she moved to Wonderland proper.
Yeah, I actually like the scene because it brings upon the existentialist feeling of who are you? Are you a serpent? Who are you? Have you changed? So I actually liked it a lot.
And we did talk about that in rehearsal where the director was, you're in this, who are you? Do you think you're a little girl? You say you're a little girl, but do you really think that? And then I'm I've seen little girls, but none of them had that long serpenty neck, which is why, so it was very much an existential. That's a good word for it.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for coming.
Hello, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Cheri Marigo. My credentials are I learned on stage. I've been doing this for about 30 years and never did take a class. I went out and did a show one time because I was looking for something exciting to do, and I haven't stopped since, and it feeds my soul. I played the nanny and Soldier Number 5. The nanny is a little bit wacky, and she has a strange way of taking care of children because she likes to rain pepper on them because it's fun to sneeze.
Yeah, so basically with community theater, it's a great opportunity for people to actually get into it. What do you like so much about it?
Oh my goodness, I love hearing the audience laugh. I love seeing, and particularly this, I love seeing the looks on the kids' faces. They're so excited and introducing them to this, where so many of them have never been on stage before, and it's such an important part of their lives that they can experience live theater instead of sitting in front of a television set all the time. So I have a little girl who needs an autograph.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Alice in Wonderland will be playing at the Chance Theater from March 19th to the 29th. For more information, go to www.chancetheater.com or go to www.theorangecurtainrev.com.